Hey guys, how you doing? You guys let me know what screen you see. You may see YouTube right now. Let me know if you can see Discord. Hey, can someone know you can hear me and that you can also see Discord? I want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Yeah, I see Discord. Alright, you guys can hear me too. Obviously, cool. Alright, we can get started then. Move the mic. Yeah, so here we're just going to go through the SPX game plan. We do this every morning. So yeah, starting out with SPXA. And before I get going too far, yeah, so if you guys are new, there's probably going to be terms, there's going to be things you're not familiar with, like SPXA versus SPXP. That is detailed in our blog, and actually today we just launched, or last night, we just got put together. It's called the Gamma Edge Fast Pass, and so it's kind of a culmination of tools, education, methodology, all that good stuff. And we have quick reference guides. It's based off of these newsletters that we've been publishing for most of the year. We're up to like 20, 25 of them now. So yeah, so if you're kind of unfamiliar with this stuff, you can give that a check out, you know, as an example, like this framework that we're going to go today. You know, this is simply just a daily routine staying in sync with the market. So we have that all outlined here for you. I'm not going to go through, you know, the why behind everything. We're just going to go through it right now. But yeah, so we always start out with SPXA. Again, this is the cruise ship. This is your monthly, this is your quarterly expirations. The thing you should jump out to here is basically all green, just signaling that call speculation is rampant and it's dominant right now. Yeah, really from the full complex, not a ton else to say. And then just isolating July expiration by itself, again, call dominated. The one up here before, sorry, I should have mentioned this. This is all expirations turned on. So this was July through December 2030. Then I'm specifically looking at the nearest term expiration that is also call dominated. And then you guys can go through some of these charts in Discord that you want. Looking at true zeros. They're still trending higher, starting to flatten out a little bit, so just be cognizant of that. Flattening out means that, you know, incremental call speculation per se is not necessarily going into the complex. So especially as we're getting to these elevated levels, these all-time high levels, we want to see that call speculation continue to push up higher. And if it doesn't, like if price is moving higher and the structure is weakening under the hood, then that's kind of a signal to us to, you know, pressing the gas may not necessarily be the best thing over the long term at these levels. Yeah, same thing with GEX ratio. So this is trending higher, however, it's quite elevated where it is. So again, this is just cumulative call gamma relative to cumulative put gamma in the structure. You can see most of May we were living around, you know, 1.1, 1.2. We're up to 1.4 right now. Historically, the range is kind of 0.6 to 1 or 1.2 is kind of where we start to see those overbought, oversold levels or extremes. So keep that in mind that, you know, we're getting again running quite hot there. Generally what we see here is, you know, this ratio will kind of deteriorate before price action does, so we'll be looking to see if this kind of rolled over, assuming like today's a strong day and this could roll over. So cognizant of that, not saying that is happening, that's just something to be aware of. Looking at delta balance, you know, this is strong out in time, not really a ton else to say here. Was kind of noted in the pre-market that the right-hand plane, which is your out-of-money call speculation, is weakening a little bit here, so be cognizant of that, but net-net, you know, we're still pinned at 1. Going to the SPXP full complex, SPXP, that's going to be your shorter-term expirations where your speculators are, or sorry, where short-term traders are. That's your daily, that's your weekly, 0 DT expirations, all that good stuff. So again, not a ton else to say here, just call dominated. above and below spot price. 6,200 is a clear kind of dominant strike in this structure, which we've failed at multiple times in the pre-market, so just be aware of that. 6,250 is top of DEX transition zone, top of GEX transition zone, so that's going to be the key level that needs to hold in that structure. And again, going through GEX ratio, true zeros, delta balance, all that good stuff. You guys can review that, but I mean the comments here are basically the same that we just discussed in the SPXA. You know, looking at GEX ratio, 2.5, that's getting pretty heated in my opinion. So doesn't mean that we have to go down, but just understand kind of where risk to reward in the market is at this point in time. If you're committing net new dollars at all-time highs after we've had this massive ramp, I would not full port it, that's for sure. Okay, so looking at SPX 0DT structure, a couple things to call out here. This 6150, that's the top of all three of our key transition zones, DEX, GEX, Drunken Sailor range, so that aligns with the SPX P full complex structure we just looked at. So keep in mind we are up at 6,200 right now, so kind of that key first level to the downside that we want to see hold is 6,150. That's also going to be key level here on our net stat. So what I see here is that there is certainly positive charm in the structure right now, given where we're at, and all of these strikes above here are now in the money. However, what we want to see is 6150 hold. That would likely flip the charm dynamic if we were to lose that strike. The other thing to note, obviously, is the iron condor structure, 6200, 6205. That's going to be the key levels to the upside that we need to overtake. And then from there, keep in mind the air is quite thin if we get above that. So what that effectively means is we just need to see that incremental call buyer come in and continue to push us higher. That's where that intraday volume analysis is going to be important. That's where the market trend model, specifically the cumulative tick and filter tick, is going to be important to see kind of large significant buying coming into the market to help kind of push us higher. 6250, that's, you know, a huge strike just given kind of the distribution of speculation in the market. That is kind of the next obvious target up there. Looking at net stat, that's a key level as well. So keep that in mind. Yeah, so above 6,200, looking at 6,250. But again, getting to see a lot of incremental buying come in to help sustain and push us higher. Looking at this is just showing us a chart of pre-market structure where we force spot price to be 61.92, which is roughly where we're opening up in the pre-market. Yeah, again, 6,200, just clear, obvious level in the structure right now. 6150 P trans we've discussed that, and then 6150 kind of the top of the gamma distribution. So that's really all that I have for SPX 0DT, the full complex. Kind of understand what the current environment is. Not sure if you guys have any questions. Feel free to go through that. Just wanting to hit on right, looking at 6,200 in the pre-market. Failed a few times, so again, key topside level that we want to be cognizant of there. Let's see, yeah, I mean, we're at all-time highs, just keep that in mind. Here what we're looking at now is these are just 8 of the kind of large cap single stocks that I like to track, mostly the Mag 7. And we have the pre-market scripts, so the pre-market key levels. I have extended hours on so we can see how they're interacting in the pre-market. Apple, right, positive trends, failed a couple times up here at 202.50, so that's going to be a key level. Tesla, 325, first key level, which is currently trading below. That's 0 GEX and Intran, so you know, to be constructive on Tesla, at a minimum, want to see it above 325. They really want to see it above 327.50, which is P-trans level. NVIDIA, kind of no man's land right now. Top side, COI plus GEX at 160. Microsoft, I mean, this thing's been ripping too. Kind of no man's land right now. By no man's land, meaning there's not really an immediate trade that I see on this name. 500 there. Google, can see in the pre-market, you know, tested plus GEX at 180 and it's continued to just rip higher. So not super interested in Google just because it's above its plus GEX level, which we know is the largest kind of short-term speculative strike. Amazon failing to get above 225 in the pre-market. Meta, you know, approaching its plus GEX level at 750, kind of, you know, more or less got to it in the pre-market. And then Coin flirting right below 360, so that's going to be the key level. So all this to say, you know, some of these basic key levels that we do have, price tends to interact with these more times than not. So, you know, just be cognizant of where these are at on an intraday basis if you're looking to initiate a trade. or take profits on a trade. Hood, key level 85, you know, bouncing right above that in the pre-market. Look at Palantir. Yeah, so Palantir right at positive transition at 137. So if the market breaks above 620, Palantir could potentially be an interesting name if you know, it breaks above 137. Not sure if there's other stocks you guys want to run through. Anything else you guys want to run through? Let me know. I'll stay on here a couple more minutes. Sorry. Yeah, so Apple on a daily chart is consolidating pretty nicely. See if we can get above 202. That'd be decently attractive there. I'm gonna set an alert for that. Microsoft's been ripping. Amazon, nice move with Google. Meta, nice move. Yeah, so in terms of swing trading, like I'm not looking to initiate swing trading per se. It's more going to be like intraday trades, just given how extended some of these names are. Like Apple looks attractive just because it's been consolidating, but everything else is just pretty much ripped to the upside. Tesla obviously hasn't, so let's see if we can get above 0 gex at a minimum. And not sure if there's anything else you guys want me to cover. If not, we can end it there. But I guess just going back to SPX ET, right? 650 key downside level that we want to hold. Upside levels, you know, 6200, 6205. That's gonna be your key iron condor structure. See if we can push above that or not. You know, looking at the gradient here, 6275 is kind of a key middle point that if we do see some weakness, we want to see this level hold. So be cognizant of that as well. So I assume nothing else. Don't see any comments. So with that, I appreciate your guys' time, and we will see you in the Discord at 9:30 for some trading. All right, thank you. Bye.